They say a landscape is beautiful if it is able to arouse sleeping sensitivities. El Ciego has this virtue. If they had known its beauty, some impressionist painter would have been inspired by just looking at the varied chromatic palette of its vineyards, the black of the grapes among the red leaves of vines which look like sculptures. Maybe that was why Guillermo Hurtado de Amézaga founded his wine cellar there in 1858, an enterprise which was continued by his son, Camilo Hurtado de Amézaga, a freethinker, diplomat, columnist, and proprietor of the newspaper El Día, who learned that making wine was, first and foremost, an art. He learned this lesson at first hand from the master winemaker, Jean Pinot, who he asked to introduce the refined Bordeaux winemaking methods and practices into his vineyards, leading to his first bottled wines in 1862. Don Guillermo, who threw himself into boosting his country's economic progress with a civilizing enthusiasm, decided to build a French chateau in his estate, the Finca de Torrea, with the engineer Ricardo Belsolá entrusted with the project. As well as taming the rambling vines through methodical pruning, he raised an ashlar stone cellar in which to age the wine. The Marqués de Riscal enlisted the services of a cooperage so that the wines could slumber in the protecting shelter of the casks and bottles. That was where the great secret lay. There was no hurry. Haste is not a good ally in this craft. Wine, like any worthwhile work of art, improves with time. That is the only way for them to transcend their death and bring memorable moments of satisfaction to their drinkers when the bottles are cracked open. And his spirit, the patient spirit of Don Guillermo, is still there, untouched, reverberating among the tannins. Ever since then, Marqués de Riscal has remained firmly committed to the same path of good winemaking practice. Their wines are treated with loving care in order to achieve their deserved international fame. They have the ideal facilities for aging. Their vats have been modernized, but they are just as welcoming as those of the past. Vats full of carefully tended, hand-picked grapes for the red Rioja wines, Tempranillo, Mazuelo, and Graciano. In Rueda, where Riscal arrived in 1972, and where in 1980 they were behind the creation of the designation of origin, they recovered the indigenous Verdejo variety for their white wines, and also introduced the French Sauvignon Blanc grape in 1974. Of course, the art of winemaking, as Don Guillermo was quick to realize, must combine respect and tradition with a large dose of experimentation. The current challenge facing Marqués de Riscal is that of modernity. The aptly named City of Wine bears the signature of the renowned architect Frank Gehry, a symbol of modernity, thanks to its adventurous, groundbreaking design.
It had to be something that felt comfortable with the terrain, with the vineyards, with the El Ciego, the city, and the cathedral, and it had to be festive. It had to be something exciting. It had to be because, after all, wine is about joy and pleasure, and so this building had to be evocative of those kind of things.
When the traveller sees its undulating shapes from a distance, they understand that their visit is going to allow them to enjoy a different dimension of the world of wine. Their eyes will feast on the colours shining on the titanium roofs of the main building, the pink of the wine, the gold of the mesh braid, and the silver of the capsule. Their nose will perceive the aroma of the culinary culture which emanates from each of its stoves. Their sense of taste will savour the exquisite dishes of highly creative, innovative cuisine. Their sense of touch will forget the tension, the frantic pace of our day-to-day lives, slipping calmly into the pleasant joys of a massage, using the healthy techniques of wine therapy. all now peaceful. All wellness. And the sense of hearing will be amazed by the exquisite, multilingual courteousness of a luxury hotel. And all the senses combined will revel in the pleasure of drinking some unique, legendary wines, recognized throughout history with diplomas and medals, as well as many other national and international distinctions and awards. Each of these bottles is beautiful, both outside and inside. Each of these bottles oozes a perfect mix of the classic and the ultra-modern. If Cézanne had seen them all together, he would surely have felt inspired to create a beautiful still life painting. Just like the works of the Impressionist artists, the wines of Marqués de Riscal are famous and are sold all over the world, because they too are little works of art.